in a dramatic shift to their own message.
The swamp has never been more foul or more fetid than under this president.
Instead of delivering on his promise to drain the swamp, President Trump has become the swamp.
But will this work? Here to weigh in is Fox News contributor Tomi Lahren. Tommy, they did some stats. They asked people what concerns them most, and it's corruption in Washington. So are the Democrats doing the right thing by just taking his line?
Well, no, because they don't understand the meaning behind that line, because drain the swamp is not about what they believe it's about, which is impeaching this president or attacking this president, disparaging this president and his supporters. That's not what drain the swamp means. Drain the swamp means cutting taxes for the American people. It means putting Americans first. It means protecting and securing the border. And they are not about any of those things, which is why I believe that they're going to be hurting in the midterms and they're going to be hurting in 2020 yet again.
And you know what, Tommy, when you look, every time the president has tried to do something swamp drainish, he comes up, bangs his head on Washington, D.C., and it's been hard for him to get anything done.
And people need to understand, too, that the swamp also exists within the Republican Party, and it's very frustrating for those of us who support this president, support what this president is doing to reach the obstruction in our own party. So drain the swamp isn't just about draining the Democrats, it's about draining those in our own party who have forgotten the American people. Really, what drain the swamp means is to bring back to D.C. the real voice and the intentions of the silent majority. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they don't seem to understand that, because their entire agenda is to raise taxes, to shield illegal immigrants, chip away at our Second Amendment rights, and impeach this president or disparage this president. That is not going to be winning for the American people like President Trump is doing internationally and domestically.
It's just ironic that it's Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. That was the swamp. They were the swamp that the president ran on draining. Now, it looks like it obviously worked for this president. He got elected on that message, and it looks like the Democrats are stealing it, and maybe they're trying to win, and they're getting desperate. Because if you look at this recent poll, Reuters poll found that Republicans hold a slim lead over Democrats in this generic ballot. They asked people that they were polling, who would you vote for, the Democrat or a Republican, if the election were today? And look at that. 38.1% said I'd vote for the Republican, and 36.7% said I'd vote for the Democrat.
Well, of course, because at the end of the day, I believe that American voters on both sides of the aisle are going to vote with their pocketbook. And the truth is, this president is winning for the American people. You look at the tax cuts, you look at what that has done for the average American. I know Nancy Pelosi thinks it's just crumbs, but to average Americans, it really means something. So looking at this president that is doing great things internationally, but also, most importantly, domestically. I also think that immigration is going to be a huge part of this, because as we're seeing, as we talk about every week, even in places like California, the American people are fed up with the Democrats, and they're fed up with their agenda or their lack thereof, and they're ready for what this president is bringing to the table.
Tommy, when you're on your program and on this program, you speak your mind, but sometimes you go out in public and weird things happen. I know over the weekend you were in Minneapolis. I think you were with your mom. What went haywire?
Well, I was actually with both my parents, and we were just enjoying brunch after I did a show the night before. And unfortunately, there was a group of people probably around my age that thought it would be funny to throw water at me and then start chanting profanity. And again, not something that I'm not used to, but really disheartening.
In front of your parents?
Was that your mom in one of the videos that was walking behind you when that girl threw the drink on your back?
Yeah, it was thrown at me, and then, of course, it got my mom wet as well. And again, this was something that was embarrassing for me and embarrassing for my family. At the end of the day, I'm a person, too, and I do get humiliated and embarrassed just like anyone else, but I'm tough. My family's tough. We can handle it. I think that those that threw the water and that were applauding and laughing about it wanted to get their 15 minutes of fame by making a video of me. I think looking back, those are the people that are going to be embarrassed by their actions. I think their parents raised them better. And furthermore, you don't have to like me. You don't have to agree with my political opinions, but you don't have the right to throw things at me. Is that the point that we got in this country, that you can't disagree with someone civilly without resorting to something like that? It's really disheartening. But again, I'm tough. I can handle it. There are those out there that might not have as thick a skin, and that's the people that I worry about.
Well, don't change who you are. You just keep doing your thing.
And here's the thing, Tommy. I was looking online, Twitter, a lot of people who are at polar opposites to you politically are supporting your right to say what you want to say.
Kathy Griffin is one of them.
Absolutely.
Hey, and you know what? That is the silver lining in this whole thing. And there are people that normally detest me, and they're coming to my defense, at least on this incident. So maybe moving forward, those that thought it was fun to throw water at me or to antagonize others with my viewpoints, maybe that they'll see that that's not the cool thing to do. Because if Kathy Griffin, of all people, is sticking up for you or defending you, hey, I'll take it.
Right.
Yeah, we can all disagree, but we don't have to be hateful and angry.
All right.
Thanks so much.
See you next time. All right. Coming up, Democrats had been demanding a hearing on election meddling for months. So where'd they go when they finally got the invitation? We're going to tell you.
Plus, a judge ordering a 30-year-old unemployed man to get out of his parents' house. Should they have let him stay?
I side with the kid. And Fleet Week kicks off this morning. Todd Pyro is out on the pier already to kick it off. Hey, Todd.
Hey, Brian, as you know, one of the greatest weeks in New York City. And take a look at this idyllic scene. East River in the foreground, Brooklyn Bridge in the background. We're going to tell you all about Fleet Week as we honor the brave men and women